If you're considering to move to Chattanooga to raise a family, or you're already here and you're looking for that neighborhood that's just right, that fits your budget and your lifestyle, then this video is for you. We'll talk about the different vibes of Chattanooga's most family-friendly neighborhoods, the different schools that are nearby, what kind of lifestyle each area offers, and how pricing tiers break down. And let's be clear, my goal is not to tell you where to live, but to give you information so that you can start asking the right questions for you and your family. So first things first, why are families even eyeing Chattanooga in the first place? Well, for starters, it offers a balanced lifestyle. It offers big city access with a small town feel. It's more laid back, it's more slower paced. What you can expect is a very strong community culture. I'm talking active churches, neighborhood events, rec leagues for both children and adults. It's funny, I played in a slow pitch softball league for like a second because I tore my hamstring. Different story, but you can expect events and really community events that bring the community together, bring the neighborhood together, which is really cool. In fact, Chattanooga was just named the first national park city in the entire United States. The city is filled with local, state, and nearby national parks. And what that means is your kids get to grow up hiking, mountain biking, rock climbing, jumping in blue holes during the summer, or hanging out and boating on the lake. There's just so much to do outdoors here. They also grow up going to farmers markets, interacting with farm animals as you're driving down a road and see a bunch of cows and horses and llamas and goats. I actually saw a zebra the other day going to a showing out in Georgetown, which was insane. But the kids can expect to interact with these animals. And one of my favorite things to do growing up was going to the local farmers market and getting that homemade local ice cream or that wood fire grilled pizza. During the warm months, the Chattanooga Farmers Market downtown is huge and it's very, very vibrant and active. We also got, smaller local farmers markets in places like Ooltewah or Soddy Daisy or Signal Mountain. Some of my favorite parks include Coolidge Park downtown or Enterprise South Nature Park, which has miles and miles of walking and mountain biking trails, or you can go the paved route and ride your bike or take your kid on a walk, which is a little bit more forgiving and easier. But on a weekend, you go to Coolidge Park or you go to Little Debbie Park in Ooltewah or Enterprise South Nature Park, the place will be filled with families and adults alike. It's really, really cool, and people love the outdoors here. They love hanging out outside and going and hanging out at these local parks. Some of the others that we love hanging out at is Booker T. Washington State Park or Harrison Bay State Park or Chester Frost. Some of these parks are great if you like, camping or going picnicking, or you need a boat ramp to launch your boat and hang out on the lake. Now, when it comes to cost of living, Chattanooga is still one of the more affordable places to live in the entire United States, especially when we compare it to large cities in states like Florida, Texas, California, New York, Illinois. It's still very affordable. Now, those housing prices are catching up, but what do we know about housing prices? It's not just the one-time purchase that matters, it's everything else that comes with it, right? It's utility bills. Utilities are very cheap here. The cost for power and electricity is very affordable. We also have no state income tax, which is huge. Our property taxes are some of the lowest in the nation. And when it comes to childcare and extracurriculars, we are still more affordable than national averages. So Chattanooga is strategically located in a spot that's in between two major mountain ranges. So downtown Chattanooga sits at the base of the Cumberland Plateau. So if you go out west, there's so many different hikes and waterfalls and blue holes and creeks that you can enjoy. Same thing if you go out east towards the Appalachian Mountains. Now, not only is it super close to that outdoor access, you also have major cities not too far by as well. So for whatever reason, you cannot find what you're needing in Chattanooga, for example, an IKEA, right? There's an IKEA down in Atlanta. So if you want to go to IKEA, drive down to Atlanta 2 hours, spend the day or spend the weekend, and go to the Atlanta Aquarium and things like that. It's not too far. Nashville's 2 hours away as well, or 2.5 hours. Knoxville's an hour and a half. It allows you to still live in a small town while having access to those bigger cities. That comes into play when we talk about travel and air travel specifically. Chattanooga has a small metro airport. It's one of my favorite airports in the United States because you can just go in and out. It's super easy. However, a downside is there's not a ton of direct flights to different places. There's direct flights down to Florida and to the Northeast and other places, and they're actually expanding pretty good now. However, if you're going to somewhere a little bit more specific within the United States, or you're traveling internationally, you're likely going to have a layover in Atlanta. So you have the option. You can either fly out of Chattanooga, have a layover in Atlanta, then just go wherever you want, or you can drive 2 hours down to Atlanta and go direct from that airport. And guys, if you have not figured it out already, I am a licensed realtor here in Tennessee. So if you guys are looking to move to the area, as much as I love making these videos, I love more to help you guys with your real estate needs. So please feel free to contact me in any of the ways down below. I am the one answering those phone calls, emails, and text messages, and I have helped a lot of people who have reached out from these videos, and I absolutely love it. So guys, please feel free to reach out in any of the ways down below, and I'll be absolutely happy to help. All right, so let's talk about the education landscape and what you families should know about the education here in Chattanooga. So number one, Chattanooga is part of the Hamilton County School District, and the greater Chattanooga area is made up of a few different counties. Number one, the main one is Hamilton County. We've got Bradley County over east, and we've got Catoosa County and Walker County down in North Georgia. Now, most families attend schools based on zoning tied to their home address. However, Chattanooga is a very private and magnet school-driven city. So although we do have a decent public school system, there are even more options for your magnet and private schools. In fact, Chattanooga has some of the best magnet and private schools in the state. Popular magnet schools include Normal Park Museum Magnet School. We have STEM School of Chattanooga. We've got Chattanooga School for the Arts and Sciences. We have Chattanooga High Center for the Creative Arts, just to name a few. Now, the local private school options include Baylor, McCallie, GPS, Chattanooga Christian School, Silverdale, and even smaller ones like Collegedale Academy. Now, families choose these for smaller class sizes, religious affiliation, or extracurricular opportunities like sports. For example, like McCallie and Baylor have some of the most competitive sports systems in all of the state. Many families get to participate in umbrella schools, classical conversations, and other co-ops. Okay, now let's dive into the meat of this video, the specific areas that might be a good fit for you guys. Now, this is going to be in no particular order, but number one, we are going to start with Northshore. Northshore is urban, walkable, and full of energy. It is one of the most vibrant areas here in Chattanooga, and the location is in its name. Now, I don't want you to get confused. When I'm talking about in this video, Northshore and North Chattanooga, for the sake of the video, are going to be the same thing. Northshore is technically a small little neighborhood in North Chattanooga, but I'm talking about pretty much everything that is north of the river and south of Red Bank that makes up North Chattanooga. You have riverfront parks, you've got Coolidge Park, you have Renaissance Park, you have the River Walk, which is a great spot if you love running, walking, biking, and you have plenty of weekend markets and different events out in this area. This is a place that you move to if you want super close access to city amenities, or if you want the opportunity to walk or bike to a coffee shop. This can be great if you want to raise your family in a super active environment. And when it comes to your lifestyle and what you can expect to do on any given day in this area is to go out on a walk or hang out at Coolidge Park, go to the Coolidge Park Carousel, or walk on the River Walk. I was filming a video out on the River Walk the other day, and there were just so many people biking and hanging out, just walking their kids. There's a lot of homeschool kids around here, so you'll see that kids and families are a lot of times active during the middle of the day. Now, when it comes to buying a home, this is one of the more established areas in Chattanooga. So you'll see quite a bit of older homes. I'm talking homes that were built in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And you'll see a lot of street parking as well, just because of the geography of North Chattanooga. It's very hilly, just being right up against the Cumberland Plateau. It's gonna be a hilly region. So you can expect to not have that big of a yard. A lot of times they build these houses right on top of the hill, and there's a hill either sloping down towards your house or away from your house. Yards are sometimes hard to come by. When it comes to the older homes, a lot of times they just didn't build garages back then. So you'll see a lot of street parking in the area. Now, there's actually a lot of new construction and new construction neighborhoods in North Shore, and the further north you go, the more suburban it gets. So the more opportunity for a quote unquote normal type lot you can get, or like a normal neighborhood. Sometimes you'll see a $3 million house right next to a $600,000 house. Now, on that note, the demand and appreciation that has happened in North Chattanooga over the last several years is kind of crazy. So housing prices have risen a ton. If you're looking for a normal 3-bed, 2-bath house, expect to pay north of $500,000. Now, if you go to Hill City or you like to buy a condo, you can certainly get something in the $350,000 to $500K range. But all in all, I would just expect to pay at least $500,000. Now, if you go to a neighborhood like Riverview, which is over on the east side of North Chattanooga, right up against the river and right up against the golf course, those houses are multi-million dollars, but what you can get is more estate style homes with your big yards and elbow room. Those houses are also McMansions, so if you need a big house with a lot of square footage, then that's the place to go. And you want to be close to downtown and all that Northshore has to offer. That is a fantastic neighborhood. Area number 2 on the list is Signal Mountain. Now, I like to describe Signal Mountain as a place where mountain living meets small town charm. It's community centered, it's nature rich, and it kind of separates itself out from Chattanooga a little bit. It's very, very peaceful with a lot of mature trees and landscaping, and you're on top of the plateau, so you have the opportunity for mountain views. Now, the southern part of Signal Mountain is a little bit more established than the northern part. So you will see some older homes in the southern part, and the more north you go, a little bit more spread out it gets. You'll also see new construction spread out on the north part as well. Now, what you have to be aware of when it comes to schooling is part of Signal Mountain, the southern part, is part of Hamilton County. However, the more north you go, that's when you hit Sequatchie County, so you're going to be zoned for different schools. And Signal Mountain Public Schools are some of the best in the state, and certainly some of the best in Chattanooga, according to niche.com and Great Schools. One of the reasons why Signal Mountain is kind of separated from the rest of Chattanooga is literally just its geography. One of the complaints that I get from clients who visit the area is the drive up and down the mountain, especially if you're from someplace like Texas or Florida and you're used to flat roads. There's 3 ways to get up Signal Mountain, and the W road is certainly the more treacherous way. And this is the way that the GPS, for whatever reason, takes most people. Because if you take the road that's closest to downtown, it's actually not terrible. If you take Roberts Mill, which is north of the W road, that one's also not too bad as well. But the W road is switchbacks, they're tight. It's technically a 2-lane road going back and forth. However, one car can only go around the switchback at a time. The question about snow and ice comes about as well. So because Signal Mountain is on top of the plateau and Chattanooga, the city of Chattanooga is in the valley, you can actually notice a pretty good temperature difference between the valley and the plateau up on Signal Mountain. Probably about 5 to 10 degrees. It's probably about 5 to 10 degrees cooler on top of the mountain versus the valley. So what does that mean? During winters, snow is more prevalent. Ice is also more prevalent. If it's snowing in the valley, then it's certainly going to snow a little bit more up on Signal Mountain. If it ices in the valley, then you can expect ice up there as well. And because temperatures are a little bit cooler, it takes a little bit longer for that snow and ice to melt. This past winter, it snowed and iced over actually twice, which is an anomaly because it only really happens once a year. 2 winters ago, it didn't snow at all. But down in the valley, the snow and ice lasted maybe a day. After it snowed, it literally started melting immediately once the sun came out. However, up on the mountain, the snow and ice stayed a little bit longer. Now, it's not anything you really need to worry about because it happens so seldom. However, definitely be aware of it. You're driving on mountain roads, and during the winter months, it can ice over and it can be kind of dangerous. It just doesn't happen very often. Now, when it comes to amenities, to be honest, there's not much. You have small department stores, small hardware stores, you have local doctors' offices, you have Pruitt's Market, which is a small local mountaintop grocery store, which is actually really cool. Like, think Whole Foods, but more locally grown, more tight-knit. It's actually a really cool spot. You have coffee shops, you have a golf course, and a community center up on Signal Mountain, and plenty of sporting events and things like that. You'll see farmers markets happen up on there, and then different festivals like fall festivals where you can go to a pumpkin patch or a hay ride or a corn maze and things like that. It's more outdoorsy. Signal Mountain is just a more outdoorsy feel. You have a ton of mature trees, a lot of tree coverage. So, when we talk about summer months, that temperature difference up there, not only is it because of elevation, but because of all of the tree coverage. And it's just a giant rock that you're living on. You have a cool breeze from the water features and the rock up on Signal Mountain, and just a ton of tree coverage. So if it's blazing hot, there's definitely a lot of opportunity to find shaded areas. When it comes to home prices, you can find a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house up there for the $400,000 range. Anything above that, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, really expect to pay $800,000 plus. There are communities spread out throughout the mountain. One of the higher end communities, which is absolutely amazing, is called Flipper Bend. It's an absolutely spectacular community with lots that have a lot of elbow room. I'm talking half an acre plus. And then opportunities to purchase a lot on the brow. Anytime we talk about brow lots, it's lots that's right up against the plateau, and you have beautiful views. For a place like that, expect to pay $1.3 million plus. Now, area number 3 on the list is East Brainerd. I'm actually going to loop in a few other areas with this. East Brainerd, South Ooltewah, and Apison. And really it's because they're all part of the same East Hamilton school district. Now, East Brainerd really is a typical suburb. So East Brainerd is going to have one of your main amenity centers in Chattanooga, and that's Hamilton Place Mall. Hamilton Place Mall is the biggest mall in the greater Chattanooga area. And even if you don't like to go to the mall that often, you expand out from the mall, a lot of your amenities are going to be around there. Namely on Gun Barrel Road and at Shallowford Road. On Gun Barrel Road alone, you have like 2 or 3 different Starbucks. You have Best Buy, you've got Fresh Market, Home Depot, Lowe's, Aldi, we've got a Whole Foods, we've got a Target, a Kohl's. There's just so many different things and different stores on Gun Barrel. And then adjacent is Shallowford Road, which is also going to have a lot of more amenities, doctor's offices, different stores here and there. Just understand most of your amenities are going to be close to the Hamilton Place Mall. You also have several parks nearby, like Enterprise South Nature Park, you have Heritage Walk, you have East Brainerd Rec Center, and you have a strong sense of neighborly community in the area. It's a mix between established neighborhoods and new construction neighborhoods. East Brainerd is still one of the more affordable areas to live in Chattanooga. You can certainly get into a decent 3-bed, 2-bath for $400K, but honestly, we're talking about home prices at this point. Expect to pay $400,000 and above. But honestly, you can expect to either pay $300K up to $3 million. It really just depends on what you want and the exact area and neighborhood that you're living in. So keep in mind, this place can get congested at times because it has one of the main amenity centers, especially during like the holiday seasons or Black Friday. This is where your Best Buy, your Home Depot, your Lowe's is, right? So expect a lot of people from the east side of Chattanooga traveling here to go shopping. They can certainly get congested during holiday times and during the hours when families pick up and drop their kids off at school. Touching on Apison for a second, because it is technically part of the same school system, Apison is a newer area. If we talked about Apison 10 to 15 years ago, it would literally just be a ton of farmland and forest. As we move further east of downtown Chattanooga, the geography becomes a little bit more forgiving than the West Mountains. It becomes a little bit flatter, a little bit more hilly, and so it gives room for developers and investors to build homes. So we'll see a ton of new construction moving out east towards Apison. You'll see a mix between massive estates on a lot of land and new construction neighborhoods. You have a mix between what you can get in a new construction home. You can get a $400,000 D.R. Horton home, or you can buy something up to $1.5, $2 million, just depending on what neighborhood and what kind of build you want. Now, the next spot is Ooltewah. This area is very suburban with upscale touches. In fact, this is one of the suburbs within Chattanooga that's a little bit more uniform in terms of what the homes look like, the type of neighborhood that you can get. You're gonna be minimum paying $400,000, and you can pay for something up to $3 million if you're getting a ton of land or you're on the lake. It's very family focused with new development and convenience. If you're looking on a map, Ooltewah stretches all the way north along the Chickamauga Lake, and it stretches all the way down towards the Tennessee-Georgia border. So there's just so much diversity in terms of what you can get with a house or a neighborhood. One of the hot spots in Ooltewah is Cambridge Square. This is a trendy, walkable commercial district with restaurants, an ice cream shop, donuts, different boutique stores here and there. And then it also has a residential district as well with beautiful, luxurious homes. If you live on the east side of Chattanooga, you might find yourself going here often to go for a date night, to go out to dinner, or to just walk around the community. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a great vibe. They also hold different events and car shows and concerts here, which is really, really cool. Just a great family-friendly vibe out here. Now, we talked about Ooltewah being such a long suburb stretching all the way from the lake down to the Georgia border. What that means is different schools can be zoned for different addresses in Ooltewah, right? So if you're on the south side of Ooltewah, then you'll likely be zoned for East Hamilton schools. Or if you're more in the middle of Ooltewah or North Ooltewah, you will be zoned for Ooltewah schools. So just do your due diligence, make sure that wherever you're purchasing, whatever the address pertains to the school that you're trying to send your kid to. Now, some of the highlighted areas in Ooltewah include not only Cambridge Square, but you got Harrison Bay State Park, that's not too far by, that's along the lake. You've got Little Debbie Park, and you've got the Greenway, which is a great spot if you want to just go on a walk or a run. You go to Little Debbie Park on any given weekday evening or on the weekend, there will be so many kids and families hanging out there. It's really, really cool. And you have other public pools and parks around Ooltewah. Now, an entry-level price in Ooltewah will be around the $400K mark. And like I said, you can buy anything up to $3 million. It really just depends on the exact area that you want to be. So the next spot is Harrison, Tennessee. Now, Harrison actually borders Ooltewah. Harrison, I would say, is more of a quiet nature lake community vibe. It's semi-rural, it's close to the water, and it's great for families who just want to be kind of separated from it all and just want a little bit more quiet atmosphere and close to boating and fishing and things like that. You have Harrison Bay State Park, you have Booker T. Washington State Park, you have the Bear Trace Golf Course. Harrison is also one of the more affordable places to live here in Chattanooga. Entry-level home prices start around the $350K mark, with your average price point being around the $450,000 to $500,000 price point. This is also a spot where if you want to live on the lake, if you want a lakefront home, then Harrison and Ooltewah can be a great spot for it. So there are two areas left, and the last one I've never ever talked about in any of my videos, so you're gonna wanna stick around to the end. But the next spot is Cleveland, Tennessee. So Cleveland is the next town over if we're going east of Chattanooga. It's about a 30 to 45 minute drive, just depending on where exactly you live in Cleveland. Cleveland City Schools and Bradley County Schools are some of the best in the area, according to niche.com. And Cleveland itself is a small-sized developing city. It has everything you need. The only reason you need to go to downtown Chattanooga is if you worked in downtown, or if you want to go to a more Chattanooga localized restaurant or things like that. But Cleveland has absolutely everything you need. It has a hospital system, has job opportunities, it has manufacturing, it's got main amenity centers. You have Bradley Square, and a place like Bradley Square is a newer commercial district that's actually very nice. So right in downtown Cleveland, you also have Lee University, which is a private college in the area. This is also the more walkable area, and you'll see smaller, cute boutique coffee shops and restaurants and stores here and there. I would say Cleveland as a town is super underrated when it comes to people looking to move to Tennessee. It's a great spot with great neighborhoods, great parks like Fletcher Park. You have some beautiful homes. A lot of times you can get a little bit more bang for your buck just depending on where you live in Cleveland. The cool thing about this town is it's very small and tight-knit. So if you're in downtown Cleveland, all you gotta do is drive 10 minutes out and you are at rural farmland. It's really cool. So, you know, if you want that vibe where you are in town, then you can certainly have that. If you want to go out and be a little bit more rural, it's super convenient to get there. Or on the flip side, where you want to live in a place that feels more rural and only be 15 minutes from city amenities, Cleveland provides that opportunity. Your entry-level price point will be around the $350K mark, with your average home being around the $500,000 price point. Now for our bonus town is Ringgold, Georgia. Now, if you did not live in the area, you were in a place like Florida or New York, or on the west, out in the west. And you imagine Tennessee with its rolling hills, out in the country, horses, things like that. Ringgold, Georgia is actually the place that looks most like that. It has this rural country setting while being only 20 minutes from Chattanooga amenities. The home prices in Georgia are a little bit more affordable than in Tennessee. With that downside, you got the state income tax in Georgia. Now, at the end of the day, it can be a wash depending on your income level, but just understand that can be a downside. You have state income tax in Georgia, but you have a little bit lesser sales tax in Georgia as well. You will move to Ringgold or North Georgia if you want a more laid back country rural vibe. It's slower pace and you can typically get a little bit more bang for your buck. I'll be honest, I don't talk about Ringgold in North Georgia enough. This place is increasing in popularity for a few reasons. Number one, Catoosa County schools are, again, some of the best public schools in the area. Heritage High School and Ringgold High School are some popular picks when it comes to schooling, and they're known for their academics and sports systems. In fact, according to niche.com, Ringgold schools rank number 2 in Chattanooga's best school systems. You have plenty of different parks like we talk about in all of Chattanooga, but just again, something to consider if you're imagining Tennessee, rolling hills, farmland, things like that. Really, North Georgia can be a great option for you. Home prices start around $250K, while your average home price is gonna be around the $400 mark. And depending on if you're wanting to buy a farm or a lot of property, there's a lot of opportunity to do that in Georgia. You can easily spend up to 1.5 or 2 million for that property. Or if you want to go to a place like Rising Fawn, where you can get beautiful bluff views of the mountains, then you can easily spend up to 3 to 4 million. We see lesser new construction communities in Ringgold and more custom homes on a lot of property. Again, guys, I am a licensed realtor here in Tennessee, so feel free to contact me in any of the ways down below. I am the one answering those phone calls, emails, and text messages, and I love hearing from you guys. If you guys have any further questions or need help relocating to the area, please feel free to reach out in any of the ways down below. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below if I missed anything, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.